Hey everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. Tonight we're going to do a balance flow and work with some free movements. So kind of the part 2 or the volume 2 of what we did last week. And we're going to focus more on some ankle and ankle mobility and hamstrings and just kind of stretching everything out and getting everything nice and strong, and then kind of taking that into some balancing poses as well. So stepping a little bit out of the vein of yoga, and we will kind of incorporate all of those things together, but just kind of exploring a little bit more of a dynamic movement here. So you don't need anything other than a block if you have it, and your yoga mat and a bottle of water, and that's it. So let's get started in child's pose. So bring your knees wide, your big toes are touching, and you're going to stretch your arms forward and bring your forehead down to the mat. Take long deep breaths in and out through the nose. So settling the shoulders down, really allowing your elbows to bend here to relax everything down, just kind of letting all your body weight fall to the mat. Focusing on the rising and falling of your spine, the rising on the inhale, and then the back falling down, the belly relaxing on the exhale. Staying in child's pose, lifting up onto the fingertips. So lifting the palms above the floor, just pressing down into your fingertips now, hovering your forehead just above the floor. Press down into your fingertips and keep stretching your hips back or pulling your hips back towards your heels. Tuck your chin in slightly. So you should feel the stretch going alongside the length of the body here. So left and right side of the body. And staying up into the fingertips, we're going to change the angle. We're going to go off to the left side and stay up high. Drop the head down. Breathing into that right side of the body, you should be feeling more of the stretch there. And then go to the right side and do the same. And then come back to center and bring your palms together, forehead to the mat, and then bring the thumbs to the back of the neck. And release your arms down there, and then let's come up into tabletop pose. Tuck your toes under, and then we're just going to press or reach through the heels with the toes tucked under, so you feel the stretch in the soles of the feet and the toes. And then hands underneath your shoulders here, we're going to press down even more through the toes and lift the knees up off the floor. Just keep pushing out through the heels. And then release the knees down to the mat. So again, lift your knees, push out through your heels, release down, lift your knees, release down, and then one more time. Lift your knees, keep holding, breathing. Should feel this in the quadriceps should be on fire here. That's good. And then bring the knees down. So you can untuck your toes there and slap them on the mat and just relax your feet from there. Let's go into cow-cat. Rounding the spine on the exhale, and then inhale, releasing the belly. Lift your chin, chest forward, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, rounding the spine, inhale, releasing. Inhaling, exhaling, just keep moving with your breath. Move around, circle motion. Pick a direction to move to, counterclockwise and clockwise, and then just feel on one side, switch it up and do the other side. Moving around, think about circling around in the hips. And just kind of keep your breath freely moving in and out. You're not holding the breath. You're slightly engaging the core. And then leaning off to the left side. So push your hips out to the left, but also pull back. Drop your head. Keep breathing. Now the stretch will be on the outer left hip here. Keep breathing. Whole left side is long, and then come back to center, and then go to the other side. So you dip your hips to the right side, but also pull back. Drop the head. So you're just kind of pulling back to where you feel the stretch here. You're not doing anything crazy. And then come back to center. Move around back into a circle motion. Breathe it out. All right, and then come back to center. So from here, tuck your toes under again, and then walk back so that you're sitting on your heels, and then take your hands back behind you, and then move forward. Hands back behind you. Moving forward, tabletop pose. Just going as far as you feel comfortable. So if this is your limit to how far you can stretch, then that's fine too. Coming forward, back to tabletop pose. And then one more, just taking it to your limit, just sitting on the heels, arching back, and kind of reclined hero's position. Your hands back behind you for support, shoulder blades pulling back together behind you, and then coming forward. So tabletop pose, and then we're going to come back and then just bringing the right hand off to the right. The left arm is going to reach across the body, and then the right arm is going to reach across the body going to the left. Sitting on the heels, you should, again, feel that stretch happening through the feet, toes, fascia, the soles of the feet, giving the sidelines of the body. I'm inhaling as I'm leaning back and moving into that extension, and then I'm exhaling when I'm coming out of it. Inhaling, exhaling, and inhaling, exhaling. Okay, and then coming back to tabletop. Untuck your toes, and again, just kind of tap your feet, tops of the feet onto the floor, shake it out, get the blood kind of moving back into those toes, and then come up into downward facing dog. So now walking the heels out, so pushing down through the right heel and left heel as your knee bends, left and right. Looking underneath the armpits. Let your head just relax here. Step your feet wide, and then start to walk your hands towards your feet and sit into a squat. So bend your knees and try to go down as low as you can. Don't worry if your heels lift off the floor here. We're still getting warm. Reach your right arm up, inhale, exhale it down, and then lift your left arm up, and then exhale it down. Lift your right arm up, and then exhale, and left arm goes up, and then exhale. Now we're gonna walk forward to plank pose, and lower down through chaturanga, lift into an up dog or cobra. Keep holding here. If you're going into up dog, you can press through the tops of your feet and lift your knees off the floor so my hips are hovering here, my legs are engaged, and then I'm lifting forward. Do not sink in through the shoulders. Push into the hands, so let your shoulders pull down and back. Come up into downward facing dog. Walking it out. Step your feet wide, come back into a squat at the back of the mat. Okay, and then this time here, we're going to bring your right foot forward here and then drop the left knee onto the floor. So you're kind of kneeling, you're sitting onto your left heel, but your right foot is in front of you here in the squat position. Okay, so we're gonna take the hands back behind you. I'm clasping my hands back behind me, and I'm leaning forward. If that's too difficult, just placing your hands in front of you to lean forward is fine. And then releasing. And then to come out, just place your hands in front of you, lean forward, and then we're gonna switch sides. So you're going to sit on the right heel. You can lean to the left, right side here, and then place that left foot in front of you here in that kind of squat or that lunge-like position here. So knee pointing up, the right knee is on the floor, doing the same thing. I'm clasping my hands back behind me, and I'm going to lean forward, pulling the arms back, pulling the shoulders back. And then releasing. Hands in front, and then release that. Back up into downward facing dog. Walk it out. Lift your right leg back behind you, holding it there. Lift your left heel off the floor, and then drop it down into the floor. So heel raise, so lifting that left foot, left heel, and then dropping. Lift it, and dropping. Meanwhile, keeping that right leg up into the air. Lift, release one more time, lift it, and then release. Switching sides. Bring your right heel onto the floor, and then lift your left leg back behind you. Lift your right heel off, and then drop it down to the floor. Keep reaching back through your left leg. Your left leg should feel like it's engaged. So the glute muscles on the left leg, the hamstrings. And then you're working that calf on your right side. So you're doing those calf raises. All right, and then releasing down. So step your feet wide, and this time walk your hands back to your feet, but keep your legs straight. And your knees can bend once you get here, depending on your flexibility. You don't have to have completely straight legs here. But you're in that forward fold, drop the head. Then just rock from side to side. Head is heavy, arms are heavy. Draw your head over to your right knee. Hold it there. Draw your head over to your left knee and hold. And then come back to center. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, we're curling up the spine. So start to think about your tailbone and then stacking vertebrae on vertebrae all the way up. Just keep your chin tucked until you stand up straight, head over the hips, and then you can lift the arms above your head. Deep breath in, and then exhale, arms out wide, and then come down all the way, forward fold. And then again, just kind of rounding the spine, tucking the tailbone, and rounding up. And finally reaching up, inhale, and then exhale, bring the hands to your heart, clasp your fingers, press down, inhale, lift the arms, exhale, take the hands back behind you, clasping behind you, pull back, look up, exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Reaching up, exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, release the hands back behind you. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Reaching all the way up. Exhale. So now stepping your feet even wider. So they were as wide as my mat before, but I'm just going to show you this by just getting a little bit wider, not like into a full split position or anything, but you should feel a little more like your outer hips are working and your inner thighs will feel a little bit more of a stretch for this one. So same arm position, so same flow, reaching up, inhale, and then exhale, clasp your hands at your heart, pressing down, inhale, lifting the arms, exhale, release the hands back behind you, inhale, pull back, exhale, bow forward, inhale, rise up, exhale, clasp, press, inhale, lift the arm, exhale, release back behind you, clasp and pull, looking up, exhale, bow forward, inhale, rise up, exhale, clasp and press, inhale, lift the arms, exhale, behind you, inhale, pull back, exhale, bow forward. We're going to hold this forward fold, arms lift, all right, and then rise up all the way, reaching up, inhale, and then exhale. Okay, so now stepping your right foot forward. So just kind of a pyramid stance type lunge or type stance here. So your feet are hip distance apart, your back foot is turned out at a 45-degree angle, and your front foot, your right foot, is pointing straight forward, toes are forward here. Doing that same arm movement, reaching the arms up. Exhale and clasp your hands. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, the hands back behind you. Inhale, pull back, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, the hands back behind you. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. If you're having trouble balancing, you can also widen your stance so that you're stepping your right foot out to the right more, so that you're just having a wider than hip distance stance. And then leaning forward. Let's just hold this last one here, forward folding, arms clasped above you. Drop the head. Think about that right hip pulling back. Really gluing the feet down to the floor. Grounding down. And then rise up all the way. Reaching up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. And then just switch the sides here. So your left foot is going to step forward and your right foot is going to step back. Find your best stance here and then go for it. Reaching up, inhale. Exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, take the hands back behind you. Clasp and pull back, inhale. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. So my front knee has a little bit of bend into it. It's not totally locked out. And that'll keep you strong and stable. Rolling forward, inhale, rise up. Exhale, inhale the arms. Exhale, and then we'll hold this last one, clasping behind you, inhale, and then exhale, bowing and holding. So again, just kind of paying attention to your feet, paying attention to that left hip, just slightly pulling back. So you should really feel that in that left hamstring there. And then rising up all the way. Reaching up, inhale, and then exhale. Okay, step to the top part of your mat here, and then we'll begin a sensation flow. Reaching up with the arms, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, and step back into plank pose. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to down dog. Step forward to the top part of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale fold forward, inhale rise up all the way. Exhale fold forward. Inhale halfway lift. Exhale step back, plank. Lower. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. And look forward and step back to the top part of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale fold. Inhale rise up all the way. Reaching up, and then exhale. So salutation B here, toes are touching, and we're going into Utkatasana, so reaching up through the arms. Let's see if we can lift the heels up off the floor in our Utkatasana. Keeping your knees squeezing together and the sidelines of the body really reaching out. Pulling back through the belly. Keep your hips pulling back. Try to lengthen your spine. Keep squeezing the legs. Drop a little bit lower. Keep your hips pulling back though. And then keep squeezing the legs. And then you're starting to push. And then stand all the way up. And then drop your heels down to the floor. And then your hands come to the heart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, jump back into plank or step back into plank and lower through. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot forward. Left heel down to the floor for warrior one. One breath. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back, plank, lower through. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Left foot steps, warrior one. Deep breath in, exhale down. Again, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, right away stepping forward. Bringing those toes to touch. Drop into Utkatasana. Again, this variation, lifting the heels. Lifting the heels, but keep those hips pulling back. And holding that. Again, we're focusing on the ankles. Ankle strength and mobility, hamstring strength, kind of the whole, all the legs here. Knees, and then standing up all the way, and then dropping the heels down to the floor and the hands back to the heart. Again, starting with that Utkatasana, reach the arms, drop down so the hips pull back first, so pull the hips way back and then start to lift those heels. Keep squeezing back. Uddiyana Bandha, so keep pulling in through the core. And then standing, drop the heels, sweep forward and down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, step or jump back. Plank. In plank pose, we're going to roll forward onto the tippy toes and then push back into the heels. Roll forward in the tippy toes. Push back to the heels. You can do this faster than me if you want to. Rolling forward. And again, just kind of seeing how far you can go. Forward, back. Keep going. Keep your arms locked out. Core engaged. A couple more. When you come back into the pushing back to the heels, then lower through. Chaturanga, up dog. Down dog. Right foot steps. Left heel down to the floor, warrior one. Reaching up. Let's go to warrior two. And then back into reverse warrior. Inhale and then exhale. Cycle all the way down. Come back into plank pose, lower. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Step the left foot forward. Right heel down, reaching a warrior one. Warrior two. Inhale, back reverse. Exhale, flow. Bring it back to plank, lower. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Think about 5 breaths here. Again, just kind of walking it out. Look forward at the hand. Okay, so holding on, and your knees can bend a little bit here, but lift your chest forward. So when you lift your chest, I want you to kind of pull up through the belly and lift forward and draw your shoulder blades as far as you can away from your ears, like you're trying to stretch your neck very, very long. Keep holding and lengthening, pulling the shoulders back, and then drop down. Drop your head down, point your head down, the crown of your head, straight down. And then if you can get your legs straight, then you're working on pulling your arms apart. So you're pushing down into your feet, but you're also trying to bend your elbows and widen your collarbones and widen your shoulder blades as you're in that forward fold and as your sit bones lift up. And breathing here. Think about the inner lines of your legs lifting, getting a lift through the inner lines of your legs. So that means your navel is continually pulling up to your spine, engaging your quadriceps so that your hamstrings are able to stretch. And then you can release your grip there. And then bend the knees, and then again, just slowly rounding up through the spine. Tucking the chin until you stand up all the way to the top. Sweeping arms overhead at the top of the mat. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale. Step your right foot back and drop your right knee down to the floor. So just holding with the hands on either side of the left foot here, we're holding, lifting your chest forward, drawing your shoulder blades back, and pushing down through the top of the toes. The toes are digging into the floor and you're reaching out through the heel on that right foot. So keep that happening. Keep pushing down through your toes, dig in, and then see if you can lift that knee, that right knee up off the floor. Now you should feel that stretch increase quite a bit when you start activating that leg. So you're pushing out through the heel now on your right leg, on your right heel. Breathing. Holding for 3, for 2, and then for 1. And then you can relax the knee down onto the floor, and then we're going to pick it up and back into plank position. Lower through chaturanga, lift into up dog or cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left knee down to the floor. Again, we're just going to hold this. I just want you to focus on pushing out through the heel, digging through the toes. Breathe. Think about the hips dropping down, chest lifting forward, the sidelines of your body lifting forward and up. Okay, and when you're ready here, you're going to lift the left knee up off the floor. So you really need to push through your left heel. Keep breathing. Couple more breaths here. And then you can release the knee back onto the floor. And then taking it back now into plank pose. Let's go to side plank pose on the right side. So you're on your right hand, that left arm's going to reach up. Take your right arm overhead. Reaching up. Take your right arm overhead. Keep pulling in that bottom shoulder, reaching up one more time, and then reach overhead. And then bring it down, circle down, switch, go to the other side, reaching up with your right arm, reaching alongside your ear overhead, reaching up to the ceiling, overhead, up to the ceiling, overhead, and one more up, and then over, down, flat plank, lower through chaturanga into your up dog or cobra, and then come back up into downward facing dog. Walking it out. All right, so stepping or hopping forward, onto the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, and rise up all the way. Breath in, exhale out. Okay, so we will do some balancing poses. Have a block handy here. If you don't have that block, don't worry about it. The first one we're going to do it without a block anyways, and that is kind of doing some exercises to increase your strength for a pistol squat. But it's very balancy as well. So I'm just going to face you and we'll go for it. So on the we're balancing on the left foot first. Take your hands onto your hip. And first we'll lift up that right knee. So just kind of lift it up nice and high. You should feel the kind of hip flexors work a little bit, and then drop it down, and then just kind of pull it back. So you should feel your glute muscles activate when you push your foot back like that. And then again, lift it up nice and high. Okay, and then we're going to step forward. So we're going to drop the heel in front, and then with your hands on your hips, I want you to start pulling your hips way back. So looking at your knee, your left knee is pulled back. You can still see your left toes here, and your right foot is flexed, and you should feel also a stretch in the calf muscle on your right leg and in the hamstrings, kind of right up from the calf, behind the knee, right up to the hamstrings there. And then you're leaning forward to further that stretch. If you would like to, you can reach your arms in front of you. So I haven't lifted my foot up off the floor here. My right heel is still into the floor. My left leg is taking a lot of load in the calf or in the quadricep muscles, so you should feel that. And then we're going to push through that left leg to come out. And then kind of just floating that leg back, okay? So that's kind of just getting the ankle a little more aware of what's going to happen here. So a little bit of a warm up for our next one here. So go to the other side. We're going to balance on the right foot. Hands onto the hips. So just a reminder to keep pulling the hips back. And then you're just going to reach that heel. And everyone's going to look different. So maybe you can reach your heel quite a distance in front of you. But you do want to pull your hips back enough where you can at least see your right toes. So just kind of holding there. And again, your ankle right now on your right side should be feeling that stretch. You're stretching your ankles and you're working your quadricep on your right side. And then you're stretching your calf muscles and hamstrings on your left side. So again, your arms could reach forward, and you may be able to get your hips back a little bit lower. And then to come out, focus on pushing into that right leg so that you can kind of float or drag that leg back. Okay, and so now we're going to find a block. And you can do this without a block as well, but it's just going to be easier with a block just to have a little bit of height off the floor. And again, I'll just focus on facing you guys so you can see. So a little bit of a challenge because you're standing on a cushy block, but you can stand on a step if you want to. If you have kind of a step stool, then that may work as well. So again, we're just going to lift that right knee up and then take it back, bring it up again, and then we're going to go for it. So hands onto the hips, and then we're going to take it back, and then this time we're just floating. We're floating that leg above the ground and holding that balance. So this time not stretching through that right leg. You should be feeling the right quadriceps activate as well as the left side. And then the left leg is going to push out. Okay, and then we'll try the other side. So same thing here, we're just going to do a little lift the knee, swing it back, lift the knee, straighten it out, and then hands come back. Hands onto your hips. So I like to have the hands on the hips just to keep me aware that I need to pull my hips back and lengthen through the spine. So the chest needs to stay lifted. Focus ahead of you for that balance. And we're holding that. And then push through the right leg and then come on out. Okay, so shake that out. We're going to try something else here with the block. And if you don't have the block, you just won't have the same modification. But when you do, maybe you can try it out once you do get that block handy. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the calf into a stretch position by putting the right heel onto the floor, and then the sole of the foot is going to be on the edge of the block. So basically creating an angle in the stance. So your heel will be digging into the floor, and then kind of when you stand up straight, you'll feel that calf go into a stretch position. So we're going to try lifting the left knee, and then we're going to try reaching back. And again, this is kind of taking it to another level here, doing more of an airplane position while the calf is in a stretch position, getting the stabilizer muscles a little more active. Whew, and then releasing from there. And then switching sides. So again, that left heel is going to be on the floor for the other side here. And then, so just taking your leg up off the floor, even if you just want to balance like this, you don't have to take it into that airplane position. But if you want to try, taking that leg back behind you. It's quite tough. All right, and then releasing from there. Okay, take the block away, and if you just were doing an airplane position, then we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to do another round. So airplane position now without the block. And if you just did the block variation, this might feel a ton easier for you, and maybe you're feeling really stable. So we're going to balance on the right foot. We're going to take the left knee up, and then we're going to kick it back. Okay, arms are out. And then we're going to drop the arms down, and then we're going to tip forward, touch the floor, so we're in a standing split position. working. We're going to keep lifting up to straighten and lift that right knee up. We're going to take a twist, hold on to the left knee with your right hand, and then start looking over the left shoulder. Feel your left shoulder pull back, maybe looking over your left shoulder, looking to the back of the mat. By now your ankles should feel like they are getting quite a workout. And then releasing out of that. And then bringing it down. Okay, so shake it out. And then we'll do the other side. Balancing on your right foot. So starting in airplane pose. You can lift that right knee up. And then take it back. And then when you're ready, reaching up through the arms. Coming down to a standing split, so drop the arms and then just tip forward, touching the floor. You can use that block if you have that block, if you need assistance for this position. Okay, and then we're trying to stand. Just take it nice and slow, standing up straight. Now we're drawing that right knee forward and pull it up. Twisting to the right side now, so holding onto the right knee with your left hand, rotating to the right, maybe looking over the right shoulder. Lifting really tall through the spine here. And then releasing out. And then coming back to the top part of the mat. So let's go into a flow here, just to kind of get yourself all stretched out, ankles stretched out. Again, inhale, feel like it kind of resets the body. So coming down, exhale, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, jump or step back into plank, down through chaturanga. And especially this up dog here where you're pressing down through the tops of the feet. Now we're getting that stretch into the tibia, the front of the shin there. Always feels good as a counter stretch when we're doing those standing balancing poses. So really paying attention to that stretch that you feel here, especially if you're in the up dog position like I am. You can really feel it when you press down through the tops of the feet. Okay, and then we're going to come back. So again, engaging the core up to downward facing dog. Walk it out. Stepping forward to the top part of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. Deep breath in, exhale. Okay, moving into a dancer's pose position. Balancing on the left foot first, so bending into your right knee, catching the inside part of the right foot and drawing the knee back. So do not do this, pull your knee out to the side and do some kind of weird thing like that. That'll kind of throw you off for one thing, and you could get injured in your knee for another thing. So you want to pull that knee straight back behind you and then reach your left arm up, and then just kind of follow a line on the floor if possible, straight out in front of you. As you tip forward, just think about pulling the knee or pulling the shoulder blade into your center. So as long as you kind of pull it back into your spine, then you should feel like you're more in line with things here. And the stretch that you're feeling when you kind of push your foot up into your hand should feel like it's in your quadricep and in your hip flexors. Feel the glutes activate here on that right side. Okay, for another variation, either stay where you are or you can go forward all the way down into that half moon modified position. So you're touching the floor, and then you're opening up. And here's where it's okay to kind of open up, because you're opening the whole body to the left, to the right side. So you're leaning to the left. Right shoulder pulling back to the left. And then to come out, we'll just go to half moon. And then you can come right out of that position and then back to standing. So we'll go to the other side here, balancing on the right foot, bending into the left knee, catching the inside part of the left foot, pull it back. And one side's going to feel different, more flexible or less flexible than the other side. So just do what you can. So you're going to push that foot up into your hand. You're going to keep pulling on the foot as well, and thinking about your shoulder blades pulling in towards your spine. So everything gathering in towards your spine, just to keep in that alignment. Okay, and if you would like to go to half moon, you could see in your dancer's position if you'd like. Otherwise, half moon variation here. And then half moon, and then stepping forward, back to center. Stepping to the top part of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step your right foot back and drop your right knee down to the floor. So we'll go to crescent lunge, and we'll do some twists here. So hands at your heart, take an inhale, then exhale, twist to your left side. Your right elbow is on your left knee. So taking that prayer twist, you can lift that right knee up off the floor. You can also open your arms up as well. Okay, releasing out. Bring your right knee down to the floor if it was up, and then we'll go into a half monkey split, and just kind of threading back and forth into that position. So we're going to pull back and keep the toes onto the floor. So the stretch will be the top of the foot and shin. And then we're going to come forward into lunge. So let your hips pull forward, push forward, and then pull back, and this time flex the foot. So lift the toes up, rock up onto that heel, and the stretch will be in the calf. Come forward into lunge, and then pull back. Keep the top of the left foot to the floor, just enough to feel the stretch. Reset back into lunge, and then pull back into that foot flex position. Okay, either stay here for a while longer, or you can shift forward into the more extended version of the monkey split. So 3/4 monkey split or full monkey split, if you would like to. Use your hand as you would like to. I am more of a 3/4 person, maybe not so quite a 3/4 person, but I'm definitely not a full monkey split kind of person. Definitely inhibited by the flexibility in my hamstrings. Just holding yourself up and breathing into the stretch. And you can untuck your back toes, or you can have them tucked. So you can try either way. There's no right or wrong for that position. And you're just holding. Again, it's a really intense stretch before your hamstring, so you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to push yourself into it and then pull anything. So just holding at where you're feeling the stretch, where you're feeling a little bit of uncomfortableness, but feeling the stretch, that is where you want to be. And then staying and breathing and just allowing time and practice to move you closer into the fuller split. So deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Coming out of the pose, you want to just be very careful and slowly. You're going to use your hands to pull up and then kind of pull that back knee in towards you. So walk the back knee in towards you, and then you can pull that front leg forward so that you're back into that lunge position. So again, no sudden movements. Once you feel like you're in a stronger position, then you just take it back into that plank position. We'll lower through chaturanga, we'll lift into an up dog or cobra, and then come back all the way into downward facing dog. Walk it out from there. Breathe it out. Right foot's going to step forward now, and then the left knee is going to come to the floor. So reaching up with the arms here, hands come to the heart. Take an inhale, and then exhale over to the right side. So the prayer twist position, think about the thumbs coming to the center of your chest, pulling the right shoulder down and back. You can lift your left knee up off the ground, and you can open your arms up all the way if you'd like to as well, as ribcage kind of rolls open to the side. Keep breathing wherever you're at. Make sure you're not holding the breath. And then we're going to release out of that position. So drop your back knee onto the floor if it was up. And then we'll come back and then we'll just go for lunge to the half monkey split positions from there. So lunging and then come back. Keep the foot, the sole of the foot onto the floor. You can even place your right hand on the foot. That usually helps as well. Just to kind of anchor your foot down so you get that deeper stretch into the sole, front of the foot and shin. And then come forward, reset and lunge, come back into that flexed position, foot, toes pulling back, and again, same thing, you can use your hands, pulling your toes back into that forced flex position, the hips pull back, come forward, reset and lunge, come back, hand on top of the foot, sole of the foot sealed to the floor, hips pulling back so that you can feel the stretch. Breathe into that stretch. Come forward into lunge, reset, come back into that flex position. Breathing deep. Toes pulling back. Okay, staying there or moving into the 3/4 or full monkey split position from there. So your front foot will be in a flex position when you're going into the monkey split, but that back foot can be tucked or untucked. So again, that's kind of depending on your preference, and you can try both ways to see how that goes for you. I'm just using your hands here to support your position so you're not just kind of falling right into it. You're just easing into it, breathing into it mostly, and then maybe just kind of getting a few degrees a little bit deeper into it as your body starts to relax a little bit more. So make sure that breath is happening. You're taking those deep breaths in through the nose, maybe out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the nose. Just continue to try to calm the body down here as you're trying to relax into the position. 2 more breaths. Okay, so walk your back knee forward, and then you can pull that front heel back towards you. Again, you're in a stronger position when you're in that closed position, not in that fully stretched out position. That's when you're strongest. We're gonna come back into plank, lower through chaturanga. Again, enjoy that stretch, that extension in the spine, the up dog or your cobra position. Deep breath in and out, and then come back into your downward facing dog. Walk it out. Okay, standing forward fold here at the top of the mat. Breathing deep. And then coming up all the way to standing, reaching up. Inhale and then exhale. Okay, so the last balancing pose here is just kind of the classic hand to big toe pose for balancing now that our hamstrings are a little bit warmed up. So balancing on the left foot first, and either start by holding your right knee with both hands, and this could be your pose tonight. If you would like to work on more of stretching your hamstrings at the same time, then you're holding a strap at the base of your foot there, and you're holding it like so. But that's up to you. If you want to go without the strap, then you're just holding on, you're working on the big hand to toe or hand to big toe pose. Then you're just kind of working on straightening the leg in front of you. So this could be kind of your medium, you're trying to push through your heel, but your knee is not quite straight yet. So working on extending that leg eventually. And again, that's kind of different progressions. And if you're really inflexible, I definitely recommend using that strap first of all. But otherwise, you're just holding that, or you're holding the knee position. But like I said, we're trying to work on getting some hamstrings flexibility, as well as being strong in our stretch positions here for mobility for this class. So hand to big toe pose, lifting up through the chest. Think about dropping the tailbone down, almost leaning back a little bit as well. Trying to pull the right shoulder back. Take another deep breath in and out. And then you can release. Okay, shake it up. Going into the other side, balancing on your right foot now. When I started to learn this position and I had terrible balance, I would do this in a pool. And it was very easy to do. So that's just another option. I know some pools may not be open due to COVID, but once you get a chance, it's kind of a fun one to try out, because you don't really fall over in the pool, and that buoyancy really helps. And it also helps with just relaxing as well, relaxing the muscles as you're in that water. A pretty fun one to try. Then you can take your arm out as well. Take your right arm, your opposite arm out. Think about pulling the left shoulder back. Okay, and then releasing from there. Okay, and now we're going to just do the different variation. We're opening up the leg to the side. So getting into the inner lines of the legs, but again, we're still working on that ankle strengthening here. So holding onto the big toe again, right side again, but we're shifting it out to the side. And this is what it would look like if you're just holding onto the knee, and that may be challenging enough as well. So it's kind of a hip opener, but also that balance position. And then your arm can also come out to the side as well, just to help with the counterbalance. So focusing on something ahead of you usually helps. Holding onto the big toe also puts that foot into, or stretches it through the calf as well. So stretches hamstrings and calf, and then coming back to center and then releasing, and then switching sides. So bouncing on the right foot, holding onto the big toe with peace sign fingers on the left foot. Starting with your hand to your hip, then going forward, and then going out to the side. Reaching out with both arms if you'd like to. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. And taking back to center, and then releasing. Stepping to the top part of your mat, reaching the arms up to the ceiling, and then exhaling, forward fold. Inhale halfway, exhale, step or jump back, find plank. Lower through chaturanga. So taking it to up dog or cobra, bring the belly onto the floor. Okay, let's go to bow pose, bending into the knees, catching the tops of the feet or ankles here, grabbing onto the outer ankles or tops of the feet. And you can stay in that frog position with your forehead onto the floor if you just more would like a rest and kind of stretching, focusing on the quadriceps. If you want more extension through the spine, then you're activating the stretch by pulling the feet back, therefore pulling the arms back and moving yourself into an extended spine. So head is lifted, shoulder blades pulling together. Pretty much you're right on your abdomen in that bow position. Try to reach your toes together behind you. Keep pulling your feet together. And then you can release down. 1 foot at a time, and you can relax your forehead on your forearms. So a deep breath into the back, deep breath out. Hands underneath your shoulders, press up. Bring your forearms onto the mat. Move around in a circle motion. Circling around in the shoulders, around the hips, kind of loosening up the spine. And then rise up. Back up to tabletop pose, downward facing dog. Pigeon pose is next. Reach your right, a variation of pigeon pose. Reach your right leg back behind you. And then bring your right foot, ankle, across your left knee. So you're in a figure 4 position in down dog. So start here. Then we're going to come forward and we're going to land the right toes onto the floor. And then the left knee goes onto the floor. I'll face this way so you can see what I'm talking about. So you're in a figure 4 position. My right knee is floating. My right toes are tucked under. My left knee is on the floor. So I'm basically just kind of like a tipped over figure 4. And then I can, or then you can increase that stretch by either reaching forward. Basically, To increase the stretch in any kind of figure four, whether it be laying on your back or you're balancing figure four, you're gonna bring your chest to your shin. So keeping that flat back, so you wanna get as long as possible in your back, and you wanna pull down to your shin. When you start pulling your chest towards your shin, and your knee is out, it's not pointing forward in any way, you're trying to line that shin up with the front edge of your mat. In this case, it's the side edge of my mat, but you will, when you bring your chest forward, you will start to feel the stretch in your glutes. So glutes and hip flexors is what we are targeting in the pigeon pose. If you feel it elsewhere, say if you feel like this is too much on your knees, then you can flip around on your back and do the figure four on your back, laying on your back. This position, it's kind of like your pigeon position, but it's kind of a little bit more intense just because the leg is a little more elevated, and you can change the pressure of this position as well by leaning forward or easing up and walking your hands out so your chest is lifted. So breathing deep wherever you are. The more you kind of pull that right knee out to the side, the more you're going to feel it. Again, everyone's going to feel it differently, but the most important thing is that you do want to feel it. So feel it where you're supposed to be feeling it. Feel the stretch where you're supposed to be feeling it. And if you don't, then you need to kind of hunt around to see where you can feel it. Change your position, pull the hips back, lower your chest deeper down, get more into that forward fold. And then you can come out of that position. So I'm just coming forward, and then I'm unwinding my legs, and I'm back in downward facing dog. We'll go the other side. Lift the left leg back behind you, stretch it way back, and then cross your left ankle on your right knee, come forward, your right toes come down. They're contacting first, or your left toes are contacting first, and then your left knee is floating, your right knee is on the floor. So again, your shin is kind of floating up off the floor, like so, and then use your hands to kind of guide you, pulling you down to feel the stretch. So long deep breaths in, long deep breaths out, in through the nose, maybe breathing out through the mouth. Keep lengthening out through the arms, stretching your arms forward. Again, hunting around, you can angle yourself. So just another modification, throwing it out there. We're going just reaching over to the left, or sort of to the right side here. We're on the left leg, and we're reaching to the right side. And then you'll feel this big stretch through the left side of your body. You'll feel it more in your glute. And you can kind of hunt around like so, just to feel all the different positions. Okay, and so we'll come out of that position, leaning forward, unwind the legs, come up to downward facing dog again. Walk it out. Okay, and then we'll come forward down onto the mat, onto the seat here. So spin around. We're going to roll like a ball to get down onto the back. Grab onto the backs of the knees if you wish, or just have hands free here. Tuck your chin in. Inhale, rock back, and then exhale, roll forward up to seated. times. And then we're back into happy baby pose on the back and grabbing onto the knees, grabbing onto the shins, or grabbing onto the feet. And then rocking from left to right, side to side. Okay, and then walking it out, so you're straightening the right leg and then the left leg. So one at a time, one knee's bent, one leg is going to straighten out, and you're just kind of almost like a V position, going to half V out to the side. And you can do this by holding onto the shin or the knee, by the way. You don't have to hold on to the toes. Okay, and then back to center. Give yourself a hug. All right, cross your right knee over your left knee in an eagle leg position. Now holding onto your knees, variation of a figure four again, and we're pulling in. So if you would like a deeper version, then you're holding onto opposite shins and pulling in, or holding onto opposite ankles and pulling those in more up to your hips. So you can kind of keep reaching further down to increase this stretch. The head will stay on the floor and the sit bones or the tailbone will stay on the floor. So make sure you're not kind of rolled up or kind of scrunched up like that. You just want to stay back flat on the floor as best as you can. And then you're pulling on the shins, you're pulling on the ankles, pulling them towards you, not going to them. If this does not feel comfortable for any reason now, just go to that figure four position like we talked about before. Your right ankle will be on your left knee, and then you're threading the needle. So it's a threading the needle position, grabbing onto the back of the left hamstring. So go for it, whatever kind of stretch you'd like to take right now here. And we're just targeting some more hip flexors, glute muscles. Try to take some long deep breaths in, long deep breaths out here. Again, there's a little bit of a lean you can take for this particular eagle leg stretch here. You'll be slightly leaning to the left side. So slightly leaning to the left, but keep pulling your ankles or keep pulling your shins towards you at the same time, and you'll feel an increased stretch. Okay, so release your grip, and then arms are open, and then we're going to fall the legs over to the left all the way into the range of motion. You may just stay there. If that's too uncomfortable, then you're stacking the knees or doing the scissor leg, one with leg straight out in front of you and then one straight down from you. So whatever position you'd like to take from there. The good thing about the eagle leg lock here over to the side here is that kind of puts you into a bind and pulls your knee closer to the floor. So it kind of pulls you into a deeper range of motion without having to use your hand, your left arm, and your left arm could be free to stretch out through the shoulders as well. And the legs just kind of bind themselves. And then you're free to breathe and maybe move around in that right arm. Check out some range of motion in the shoulder, especially if your right shoulder is lifted off the ground quite a bit. You want to try to pull that right shoulder as close as you can to the floor. With your shoulder kind of lifted off, if it does feel like it's quite high, then that may mean that you need to work on some chest. So stretching out through your chest, stretching out through your shoulder. Do those arm circles here. You can do like we did last time, the hand over to the left side, circle around the top of the head, and then back over to the right side, and then just coming back the way you came. So right to left, trying to get the hand, I'm going fast here, trying to get the hand to be as close as you can to the floor as you circle over top of your head. Choose to follow your arm if you wish with your gaze. And then releasing here eventually, just taking your time. You can release your legs, unwind the legs. Once you're all kind of back onto your center, give yourself a hug. Pull the knees in, draw your head into your knees if possible, and really breathe into your spine. Releasing from there, and then let's switch sides. So taking the left knee over your right knee for the eagle egg. So again, you're holding onto your knees, maybe reaching further down, closer to your ankles to progress that stretch. Head should be on the floor. The whole spine should be on the floor, and you are using the strength of your hands and your flexibility to pull the knees in closer to your chest, not pulling your chest towards your knees. Also using your breath, of course, taking those deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose or out through the mouth. And then releasing your grip there, let's take the legs over to the right side. Again, in the twist or any variation of your twist you'd like to take, arms fully outstretched, some sweeping movement, moving your head, looking left, looking right. Try to pull the left shoulder down to the floor. So again, just kind of paying attention to how this shoulder feels compared to the right side. Check out your range of motion in your shoulder. How close is it to the floor? How close is your arm getting to the floor? Seeing how far you can reach. Playing around with how your palm is either facing up or facing down. So rotation, the wrist. So take your time here, slowly moving out of that twist position. Unwind your leg, give yourself another hug, gather yourself up. yourself lots of love and breath. Okay, relax down, head down to the floor. Let's do some windshield wipers. Feet flat onto the floor with your knees bent. Drop your knees left and then drop your knees right. Back and forth, side to side. And again, lots of breath coming through. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Start to just feel really relaxed and lazy throughout the legs. So mostly letting momentum drop you from left to right. Perhaps here, you're closing your eyes or relaxing your eyes so that you can kind of mentally prepare for the Shavasana that will happen in a few moments here. So eventually just slowing everything down, walking the legs out straight, getting into that Shavasana position. So in laying down position, seated position is also fine as long as you feel like it is fine for you and you are not going to be distracted by hips or your posture or trying to sit up straight. Shavasana works because it takes very little energy to hold this position. It's very relaxing, and that's why we sleep mostly in the lying down position. So what we want to do here is not fall asleep, but just think about the breath and being still. So kind of like those few moments before sleep. So we'll start by taking that deep breath in, fill up the lungs, fill up the belly, really try to expand everything, and then a long deep breath out through the mouth, very slow and deliberate breath out. Also visualizing what's happening inside your rib cage, pulling down, the back pulling down towards the floor. Breathing out all the air, and then begin another one. Taking deep breath in, noticing the belly rising, the chest rising, and a long exhale coming out through the mouth again. Notice the sound of your breath on that exhale. Make sure you're exhaling all the air out, completely exhaling, and then we'll do one more deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out through the mouth. And then you're just resuming your breath here, cycling in and out through the nose. And then starting with a 5 count in and a 7 count out, or a 6 count in and 8 count out. So kind of depending on how slow your heart rate is right now, maybe you're about a 6 and 8. That's measured in seconds. And the exhale is longer than the inhale, so make sure that is happening as well. So stretch that exhale a couple seconds longer in your breath ratio. And you can add some sound to the breath just to kind of help you, again, relax into the position and just kind of letting the weekend go, kind of mentally preparing for the week ahead. But also remember to stay in the body, stay in the breath. Do not venture too far into future events or past events. Try to stay in this present moment. Whether it be, the easiest way is through your breath and what you're feeling and those sensations of your breath. And then another way to do it is just kind of noticing sound around you in this present moment. Sound of your breath in your body. Maybe you feel like you can hear even your own heartbeat. And then the sounds kind of within your own space, in your room. And also sounds outside your room. And just letting your awareness kind of travel out far, also bring it back in. Travel out far, bring it back in. Notice your body when you bring it back in. Notice your heels pull in to the floor, the calf muscles relaxing, resting, kneecaps relax, backs of knees, thighs, and fronts of thighs. Just letting both right leg and left leg feel totally relaxed, totally supported by the floor and by the earth. Notice when you breathe in, surround your hips with air, with breath, belly with breath, and then a long exhale out. Just relaxing the sides of the hips down to even the glute muscles and tailbone. Letting your spine float above the mat. Feeling the back muscles begin to relax further into the mat. Feel the shoulder blades spread out even more. Feel the arm bones pull down and back. Arms and backs and hands completely resting on your floor and on your mat. Completely supported. Bring your attention back up to the sides of the neck, allowing the head to relax and let go, to be supported by the mat and by the earth. Bring your attention back to your breath. Allow the lines smooth out across your forehead. Let your eyelids feel heavy and let all the muscles around your eyes relax even more. Relax the jaw muscles all around the mouth and the tongue in the mouth. Relax the throat. Soften it. Soften the collarbones. Chest and abdomen. Bring your attention back to your breath. Feel your whole body breathing and your whole body relaxing together. Bringing the attention back to your breath. Starting with your breath, allowing the breath to cycle through. Take up more space in the body, feeling the internal stretch of the belly and the back, the rib cage, all stretching out, lifting out on that inhale, drawing in on the exhale. And bit by bit, allowing more movement to happen here as you get a little more awakened with that breath. So moving around, maybe back to windshield wipers. Doing any kind of twist that feel good, or morning stretch usually feels good with arms alongside your ears, stretching overhead. Keep bringing in that breath and noticing your body, your relaxed body breathing as you are moving intuitively here. Yawning, moving the head from side to side. So when you're ready, you roll or rock over onto your right. And then make your way up to seated when you're ready. So namaste everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for doing yoga with me. And I'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and give it a like if you liked it, and share it if you liked it even more. You can check out other videos on this Facebook page and on YouTube. You can also watch another free live video on this Wednesday, for we got HIIT Core Yoga, which is a blend of yoga and cardio and strength training, and it's all body weight, and it's all awesome all the time, just like this class. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and have a great week. Bye.